What's up, guys? My name is Mauricio Palmer. I'm here with my co-host Luke Stefankowitz at Syracuse University, and this is episode one of the Jockstrap MMA pod, where we keep your MMA knowledge tight and secure.
What's up?
Let's start with quick recap of last night's fight night. It wasn't a good fight night, we all know it, but it happened, so we do have to talk about it. Do we want to go through each fight individually, or
We could start. We could start with the first fight of the night, like Charles Johnson
yeah,
and Temerov. That was a really good fight. All three rounds were fairly competitive. I think Temerov obviously looked good with getting the unanimous decision, but I mean Charles was definitely competitive. Like it was a good fight all around.
I completely agree. I think Charles did a really good job. I also thought that, to be honest, matchmakers kind of screwed him with this one. I really didn't like when it was booked. I actually remember the exact moment I realized it was booked because I got pulled over at my hometown like right before it got booked, and then I saw it on Instagram and I immediately sent it to him as I was driving home after getting pulled over, and I was like, this is going to be a banger. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I think he got screwed with the matchmaking here. How do you knock out Josh Fan and then you get fed to some unranked contender who's an absolute killer? I mean, Temerov is really fucking good.
No, yeah, like first round, he had Charles off balance like the entire first round. Like his shots were coming clean, and like Charles did a good job like staying upright, but you could definitely tell like this guy's got like serious power.
Yeah, like I really just did not like this matchup for Charles. I thought Charles deserved a better fight. Um, and I think we both predicted Temerov to win. And
No, I think I had Johnson. I had
Oh,
Johnson.
actually, no, yeah, that's actually correct. Everyone else had Johnson. I had Temerov because I that's how confident I am in Temerov. But I think he's going to be a problem in the flyweight division for years to come. So good for him.
After that fight, they moved Temerov up to 13th,
Yeah.
and then Asakur's 14, and Charles is 15.
Yeah, Bang got slid out of the rankings,
Yeah.
which is
So kind of crazy in my opinion, but it's like you have to keep Charles ranked.
it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense. It's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Flyweight rankings are kind of crowded right now, which is something I didn't think I was going to be saying
Who would you like
a
to
couple months
see?
ago.
Who would you like to see Temerov to take on next?
Temerov next. Hold on, let me pull up the rankings real quick. Can I pull up?
Bruno Silva's 12, Ulanbekov's 11, Tim Elliott 10, Almabaev 9.
I could get behind an Ulanbekov Temerov fight. I think that
Yeah,
would
that'd
be
be a good
a
one.
pretty solid matchup.
Or
Ula-
Almabaev, low key, coming off the
yeah,
loss.
that's also a decent one. I know that. I mean, Ulanbekov is like a more grappling heavy guy, but I think Temerov has the grappling ability. Like, I'm not saying that he's the best grappler, but I think he has the ability to withstand that, and I think his striking is just going to completely have Ulanbekov outmatched. I mean, there's guys like Tim Elliott here that I think would be pretty decent tests too, because I feel
Yeah,
like,
that's a decent test, but it's not like a thrilling, like, I don't know.
I guess it's not exciting, but I feel like the way that Tim Elliott fights go is like if you beat Tim Elliott, then you can break into the top 10. And if you're not good enough to beat Tim Elliott, then you're probably not going to be good enough to do anything in the division. So I think that's just like a solid, he's like a gatekeeper at this point. I mean, he has had a pretty good career. Dude, I cannot believe he fought for the title that one time. Do you remember that shit against Demetrius Johnson?
Oh, shit. Yeah, that's a fucking throwback.
Dude, he won.
I
He
low-key
won.
forgot about that, I'm not gonna lie.
He won tough, and the flyweight division was so dead that they're like, if you win the Ultimate Fighter, you get an immediate title shot, and they threw Tim Elliott into the fucking title shot. I mean, he didn't do that bad. I mean, it was a decision, but it was like still somewhat competitive. But yeah,
Back to the fight night.
yeah,
I feel like the rest of the prelims, like
Obviously, like, Lee and Aldrich was whatever.
no one
Didn't
cares.
really, didn't really care for that one. Silva looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Almeida looked decent too. It was a split decision.
Chepe Mariscal had a nice performance.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna
Mariscal,
get a
dude.
knockout, but
Mariscal came into the fight like minus 550.
yeah,
I think he ended like minus 330 or something. So still like good odds. Like he was favored high, but it was a closer fight than I thought.
and then I mean, Austin Lane Pinto, like
That's
Austin Lane is shit. Austin Lane has
minus
been
550
terrible.
Pinto. Him by knockout was like
Um, it's
easiest bet.
not even competitive at that point. So,
Yeah.
um, and then to the main card, I mean, this Danny Barlow fight shocked me actually.
Yeah.
I thought Danny Barlow was going to come out better than he did, and Sam Patterson just completely
I had
washed him.
Patterson.
You had Patterson? Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
had
I
Patterson.
think you actually got points from that. I think I had Barlow in our pick'ems, but yeah, I mean, tough fight for Barlow. Hopefully he can bounce back. Patterson is really good, so it's not like career ending, but um, Gomez Hyder Emil, banger of a fight.
That was a
Loved
great
that
fight.
fight. And dude, I'm really impressed with Hyder Emil after that. I mean, Gomez is coming off a fight where, dude, he beat Joe Anderson Brito in his last fight, and I thought Brito should have been ranked like for a while. Joe Anderson Brito was one of those guys where, in my
Yep.
personal, because I maintain personal UFC rankings that are better than the
Oh yeah.
UFC rankings. Yeah, they're just way better. They're like objectively better. And Joe Anderson Brito was ranked in mine for a while, and then William Gomez in the Benoit Saint Denis Moicano card on the main card. I mean, he beat Brito by a split decision. Again, controversial. I thought Brito won, and I think a lot of people thought Brito won, but Gomez still got the decision. And so for Hyder Emil to come in and just beat the brakes off him and really secure that decision, really
Yeah. He's
impressive.
11-0 now. Like
Yeah,
he's for
he's one of those
featherweight
guys.
division. He's like a pretty good up guy on the rise.
I think the top end of the featherweight division needs new blood, but I also think that there's a lot of guys within like the 10 to 20 range in featherweight that can easily break into the rankings and become like elite contenders. Like Emil's one of those guys. Brito, I still think could be solid. Youssef Zalal just got a big win over Cater. He's now at 12. It's huge for him. Um, Gene Silva, big matchup against Bryce Mitchell that we're going to talk about later in the pod, but I think he's definitely one of those guys as well. Sean Woodson, even. So there's like a lot of guys in that 12 to 20 range that I think can break into the rankings and shake some things up here pretty soon. And then after that,
It was Nasrat
yeah,
versus Ribovics, which
dude,
was a great fight.
I don't know. Well, one, I'm going to say this. Esteban Ribovic should never be on an Apex card again. I do not know what they were thinking by putting Ribovic
Yeah,
in a fight in the Apex. Dude, his fight against Zellhuber in the
it
Sphere
was
was
insane.
electric.
Oh,
Electric.
for
Why would
sure.
you put him in a place where no crowds? That makes zero sense to me at all. But, I mean, Nasrat getting it done. I
He
personally
looked
thought
good.
he looked good.
He
I
looked
personally
really
thought
good.
Ribovic won two of those rounds, but I mean, he did enough to secure the decision at the end of the day, and that was a really strong performance from him. That's two pretty close decisions for Nasrat, with the Jared Gordon one back in Saudi Arabia, and then now this one. So he might be working his way into a ranked fight here at lightweight here
Yeah,
soon. So
maybe in a fight or two for sure.
yeah, really impressive for him. And Ribovic, I'm gonna say, like, I'm not saying he was bad by any means. Like, in my opinion, he still won the fight, at least and how I looked at it. But I still thought he was gonna be a little more impressive than he was,
Yeah,
I guess.
especially coming off that last fight. Like he
Yeah,
looked amazing against Zell Huber.
I
Like
thought
that.
Zellhuber was better than Nasrat, and he beat the brakes off Zellhuber by the end of
Agreed.
that fight. So I really thought that he was gonna be able to deal with Nasrat, and Nasrat gave him a different sort of challenge. So
Yeah.
I really thought this should have been the co-main. I'm not really sure why it
Because the
wasn't,
co-main was
but
like a
we're gonna move on.
chokehold fight.
We're gonna move on to the co-main now.
Cody Brundage, Julian Marquez.
It was shit. It
Yeah,
was
I
shit.
mean, at one point when both of their mouthpieces get knocked out, I'm like, this is like a joke. Like,
I am gonna say though, um, I think Marquez low key got fucked with I forget who was the ref in this fight. Was it Herb? I don't think it was Herb. I forget who the ref was, but with the ref um going in and like putting in like stopping the fight to put in their mouthpieces when Marquez had Brundage like on the ropes, it just completely flipped the momentum of the fight and it
yeah,
let
that was a
Brundage get
weird
back in
moment.
it. So I thought that he got kind of screwed, but at the end of the day, he's also just not that good of a fighter, so it's not really
Brundage
like a
is like
big.
the weirdest fighter. Like you can never tell how his fight's gonna go.
Yeah,
Like, cause even when he fought Bo Nickel,
that was a
like that
snoozer.
dude, but that first round, like it was competitive.
Yeah,
Like he didn't get dominated in that first round. In the
yeah.
second round, he gets submitted or whatever. But like, and then he has like no contest against Alassane his last fight. Was that his last fight?
Um, Al Hassan, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was. Abdul Razak Al Hassan, yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know, always something with him.
Marquez, I think, is on a pretty significant skid now.
Yeah, dude, he
I
might
think
get
that's like
caught soon.
four. Yeah, I think that's like four in a row, maybe. I mean, ever since he shot his shot at Miley Cyrus on Twitter, it's gone downhill for him. So I
I
don't
didn't
really
even know
know.
that happened.
All right, but then moving on to a fight that actually has serious implications for the rankings. Manel Cape, Asu Almabaev. I'm gonna say Manel Cape legitimately impressed me a lot in this one. Like I was very shocked at how sharp he looked throughout this entire fight. Because I think I personally picked Almabaev going to this one. And that was more just I watched how Manel Cape looked against Makayev when they fought in the London card, Edwards Bilal, and I just was not impressed at all with either of them. But Makayev was at least able to out grapple him and limit his striking, and Manel Cape just came out looking gun shy, which was weird because like throughout that entire week beforehand, he was looking like he was ready to beat the shit out of Makayev
Bro, yeah,
whenever he
even
saw him.
the weigh-ins, they
Yeah,
couldn't even like hold each other back from the
they
weigh-ins.
were like throwing water bottles at each other and shit. And like they get in the ring and like the security has to separate them because like Manel Cape is already ready to beat Makayev's ass. And then all of a sudden the fight starts and he's just like it's just the most dull fight ever. And I thought Almabaev was gonna have a similar effect on him. But Manel Cape threw everything that he had at him. Um, Questionable stoppage in round three, but I don't really think it was going to get any better for Almabaev either. I still think it would have ended in a finish. So, yeah, really impressive win. Um, they did call for an immediate title shot at the, or like, yeah, for Manel Cape's next fight to be a title shot in the post fight interview. I don't know how you feel about that.
I honestly like with the rankings right now at flyweight, like obviously Kai Kara is getting the next shot,
Mm-hmm.
which is deserving. But like after that, I honestly feel like Cape could be next up. Like he hasn't beat anyone like too good because like he beat Bruno Silva and then he beat Almabaev, but like neither of those guys are top five.
No, I I just feel like he needs one more win
Yeah,
to like vault him. Like
Albazi.
that's what I was gonna say. That's literally exactly what I was gonna say. Give
Yeah,
him a fight against like Albazi, because
he
they
beats
booked.
Albazi, I think.
It was originally booked Royval Cape. I think Royval wins that if they do rebook that. So I think if they want to get Cape in the title shot, I think Albazi is their best shot because that's the number three contender right now, off of a bullshit decision over Kai Car France. I'm never gonna stop talking about that, but um. Yeah, I think he has the tools to beat Albazi. Like, I really do not think Albazi has much for him.
I agree.
I think if the UFC decides to re-sign Makayev, he might put himself in that conversation. Um, we'll see how that
I
goes.
don't think he will get re-signed, to be honest.
I mean, he's looked good in his like fights in I think it was Brave CF. I think that's the
Yeah.
promotion he's with right now.
Also,
But like,
I feel like after UFC Mexico, what, March 29th? Like, if Moreno beats Urseg,
oh, I forgot about that fight.
you also kind of have to give Moreno, like, the next shot.
Yeah,
Because, like, I don't know.
dude, Ursay gets tough matchmaking,
He
man.
gets tough fights.
I wish they stuck with the Urseg Almabaev fight because I felt like that would have been the perfect fight for Urseg to rebound.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Because if he loses to Moreno, that's Pantoja, Kai, Moreno, and that's a three-fight skid for Steve Urseg.
And those all
And
are
those are all three
super
solid
tough
wins,
fights.
not solid wins, solid losses. I mean, Kai Kara, he got knocked out, but like if he loses to Moreno in a decision, it's like, what can you like? That's one of the best flyweights ever. Like, there's not much you can do there. And Pantoja, dude, he went life and death with
Yeah,
Pantoja.
that was such a great fight.
Oh my God. Like, I really want Steve Urseg to continue to be in this conversation. But yeah, I want him to be a contender and not just be like sitting around at 8, but he has to win fights before they do that. So I think
They're
if
not
he
giving
does,
him easy fight. Like
yeah, they need to.
every fight they give him is like a tough battle. Like
Like the last like layup that he got was Matt Schnell, and he went from Matt Schnell to a title shot. Like,
yeah,
are
that
you?
was a
That's
crazy yeah.
what nuts. But um, moving on from a shit card,
Let's get rid of that card.
let's move on to this weekend's card. Um, a lot better. We're gonna go through individual predictions later, but first, let's start with our thoughts on the co-main event because it's undergone a lot of changes since we started.
Was so excited for Hooker and Gaethje.
Dude.
Like hearing about that news was like the worst thing ever. But honestly, I feel like the UFC did the right thing when it comes to like finding his replacement because
Yeah.
Moicano, like that doesn't make sense. Like he just lost to Islam. I feel like he's got to take he's got to take a better fight for himself. Like that's another loss for Moicano. I don't think that was smart. They're also saying Dariush, right?
Uh, I think that was thrown out there. Yeah.
Yeah, like that just doesn't make sense. I think Fiziev makes sense. Dude hasn't fought in like a year. Needs a fight. Fought Gaethje pretty close. Like one of the judges had a draw last time they fought. Like it was a competitive fight. It was a close fight. So Fiziev makes sense. And obviously, like I'm a big proponent for 5 round co-mains, but this makes sense why it's 3. Fiziev comes in short notice. Kind of makes sense to bump it down to 3. I have no idea how Fiziev's gonna look. Like after that injury, like he could come back, he could be a little like scared, or he could be just coming out firing to go. I know it's gonna be a good fight no matter what. I mean, Gaethje never puts on a bad fight. But honestly, like the Hooker injury is brutal, but I feel like we got the second best fight for Gaethje.
I agree. I think that of the options available, there's really nothing better. Um, they were floating out Armin. I don't really need to see that. I'd rather see Armin fight. I mean, I'd like to see
Charles
a Charles
rematch. I
rematch.
want
I'd
Armin
like to
Charles.
see a Charles rematch. I think that would make perfect sense for both. Their last fight was very close. Um,
That should have been 5 rounds too.
yeah, that also. It's just that the thing with that is just UFC 300 was this weird situation where you had 3 5 round fights. So if you made Armin Charles 5 rounds, that would have been 4 5 round fights, and then Bo Nickel on the main card. The pacing would have been nuts. So like I understand why it wasn't 5 rounds. It's almost just one of those where it's like I wish it was rebooked to a different card than UFC 300, so we could have seen that be 5 rounds on a co-main event on a separate pay-per-view. But back to what I'm saying. I mean, they were talking about Gamrot. They were talking about Beneil, as you talked about,
Gamrot could
Moicano.
have been decent, but it's like
Like, yeah, again, Gamrot doesn't really get me excited to watch him. I was very happy when Dan Hooker got the decision over him because I
yeah, me
like
too. That was a good fight.
when Dan Hooker is in the upper tier of lightweight contenders, I think the division is so much more fun because every single fight that Dan Hooker puts on is an absolute banger, and it opens up so many more fun matchups for him. Like Hooker Gaethje, if Hooker loses to Gamrot, that's not even a possibility. And now we're talking about that being one of the best fights available for Gaethje. Like that's how much the division improves when Hooker's in the top tier. So I was very disappointed that he got injured, but I think that Fazia was definitely the next
I
best
wonder
option.
what they're gonna do with Hooker now. Like, because giving him another fight is tough.
I could see Holloway. I really like that.
I honestly think it's gonna be Holloway Poirier this summer.
I think that too, though. I think it's going to be Holloway Poirier main event UFC New Orleans. that could be a pay-per-view main event, or maybe it's a co-main event for a paper. I think they're going to try to do the New Orleans pay-per-view this summer
Yeah, for his retirement,
for his
that'd be sick.
retirement fight, and it's going to be Poirier Holloway trilogy. I think is what they're going to aim for that. Which, again, incredible, but incredible fight. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I don't know like what else is available for Hooker. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, Moicano, sure, Benil,
That's
sure.
actually not terrible. Hooker Moicano is a pretty good fight. But like Hooker bumps from having a top 3 fight
To now like the
bumping down
10th
to
best
top.
fighter.
Yeah.
Like it's a tough sell. It's just that none of the contenders above Hooker right now make sense for him other than like Max. And Max is gonna get Dustin, so that's probably not gonna work. Like Gaethje, Hooker Arm. I'm gonna be honest. I have no interest in seeing Hooker Armin. I feel like Armin's just gonna wrestle him, and I feel like it's not gonna be like the stand and bang war that we all want to see Hooker. Like this is why Gaethje's perfect.
Yeah, it would have been perfect, but
I also one thing that I think is definitely a concern with this fight is Fiziev gonna make weight this short notice? I don't know. I mean, they booked Fiziev because it was supposed to be. It was Armin said that if he took the Gaethje fight, it would be at a catch weight, and the UFC does not want a catch weight for this fight. They were very adamant on that, so they're getting Fiziev to cut to 155 or 156, whatever, for this fight on like 2 weeks notice. Is he gonna make it? I don't know. I don't know what Fiziev walks around at. He hasn't really had that many weight cut issues in the past, but this is also very short notice. So I'm interested to see what happens
yeah, that's a good point.
on Friday.
I hope he makes weight, dude.
Yeah, it would be a disaster if he didn't. But now let's just address the rest of this card.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's work through prelims, and then just see what our picks for each are.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Jordan Santos, Ozzy Diaz, what do you think?
I mean, this is a tough fight. Like, the early prelims are always so difficult to like judge when it's like fighters you're not like super, you don't know a lot on. I like Ozzy Diaz in this. I mean, he lost his Ming Yang.
Zhang, yeah.
Ming Zhang. But I mean, that's a tough fight for him. I honestly think I have like Ozzy by decision.
I could see that. I'm also just not really I'm not convinced by either of these guys, but I think I'm probably gonna lean Santos. I mean, he looked good against Will Curry in the Contender Series. I mean, it was a decision, but like I think I'm just gonna lean Santos just because I've seen Ozzy. I haven't seen much of Santos, but I've seen Ozzy Diaz, and he looked terrible against Min Yang Zhang. Again, it is Min Yang Zhang, to be fair. Like I got to cut him some slack, but at the same time, like I'm just not really sold. So I think I'm gonna go
Yeah,
Santos.
I gotta do more. I don't really know too much like on
This
this
is basically a crapshoot, but I think for this one, I'm going Santos KO round 1. And then moving on, Gutierrez Castaneda, featherweight.
It's gonna be a good fight.
Chris Gutierrez first featherweight fight. Very interested to see that. What you thinking here?
I definitely think this fight goes decision. I mean, Gutierrez is a great fighter, tough fighter. I don't know how he's going to look at featherweight. It'll be interesting to see. I honestly, I mean, they're both similar fighters. I kind of lean Castaneda though, decision.
That's fair. Castaneda.
Odds are super close too. I think it's like a pick 'em right now.
Yeah.
It's a toss up in my opinion, but I'd lean more Castaneda.
I mean, Castaneda has some solid wins recently, and he also has more experience at the weight, which I think is a crucial part of this that people might overlook. Like beating Muin Gafarov, especially after Gafarov got that shock upset win over Rinya Nakamura. That's a solid win. That is definitely a solid win.
Kong too is a good win too.
Yeah.
Back-to-back decisions.
But I don't know. I feel like Chris can get it done. Chris, I mean, he's definitely had some bad decisions where it's like very lopsided, and he like against Song. Bad, terrible main event, by the way. I don't really know why the hell that was even booked. Song Yadong, Chris Gutierrez, oh,
Horrendous.
horrendous booking. But back to what I'm saying, he's been in the bantamweight rankings for a while. I think he can get it done at a new weight class. Probably got some more power under him, and I think he'll be able to sneak out a decision win here. So I'm going to go Gutierrez decision. And then moving on, we got Santos Francis Marshall. I'm very
Yeah.
excited for this.
I think this is gonna be a really good fight at featherweight.
Yeah,
Um, Marshall has some good experience. He lost to Gomez. Um, got knocked out by Bulgarian. Like those two losses aren't like they're not terrible losses, but I like Santos a lot. He looked good in his debut. I think he could knock out Marshall. I'll go Santos KO round two.
Round
yeah.
2, round 3. Later round.
I think I'm leaning the same way. Santos looked great on the Ultimate Fighter, and his fight against Ken Offley was incredible. Um, really great knockout on the Cannonier Baralho card, round two. So I think I'm gonna lean KO round two. I don't think he'll be able to get Francis Marshall out there early because Marshall's a grinder, and I mean, round one knockout against Bulgarian. It's Isaac Bulgarian. I'm gonna cut him some slack for that, but I do think that Santos will be able to get him out of there. Um, Once we get past round one and get into rounds two or three. So I think I'm just going to stick round two there. And now we're moving away from the early prelims and we get into the
I'm
actual
excited
prelims.
for this next fight
Next fight's a good one.
because, first of all, we were watching this fight together.
Correct.
Rat and Carlos Leal. I honestly think Leal won this fight by far. Like, for Renat to get that decision, where was it? Was it in Abu Dhabi?
It was in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, it was the
So it's like, dude,
Holloway
Renat
Taporia.
definitely chinsed like a, I don't know. I like how Leal looked. I mean, Moreno is a good fighter. He's had some tough losses, though, recently. D-Rod, Nico Price, Buckley. Those are all tough fighters. But I don't know if he has that juice left. And, like, Leal looked solid. Dude, Leal plus 500 in this fight is absolutely insane.
Wait, what?
He's plus 500.
Wait, hold on. Where are you finding those odds? No fucking
I'm
shot.
pretty sure. I'm going to double check. I was looking at the odds
If that's
earlier.
if that's true, I'm hammering that. No, that's Morona. I think that's Morona.
Oh, it's the flip?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's okay. I think Morona.
I was
plus
going to
500.
say, I knew one
No,
of them was high.
I'd put my college tuition on that. I'm putting my Syracuse scholarship on Carlos Leal plus 500.
Okay, yeah. Leal's minus 800.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my bad.
Okay.
Yeah, but Carlos Leal, I have him here by decision. I haven't seen the power. Like, Morano's got a tough chin. I can't see him knocking him out. I just think I think Leal will look good in the decision, and I have him taking this one by decision.
Yeah, I completely agree. I got Leal decision. I again thought he won the Renat fight. I mean, I remember seeing this stat on Twitter. It was talking about how Renat has like I don't remember what the streak was, but like some crazy unbeaten streak was what they called it, an unbeaten streak. And then someone commented on it, and it's like anytime someone says that a fighter has an unbeaten streak, you know that there's some fuckery going on with that record. And there absolutely is some fuckery going on with Renat's record. That is the fakest. I don't know what he is now, like 21-0 or 21-0-2 or some stupid shit like that. But that is just the fakest record I've ever seen. Carlos Leal won that fight, and he's going to win this fight against Alex Morono. Again, I don't see him knocking out Morono because Morono has a tough chin, as Luke mentioned earlier. And I think he can withstand Leal, even though
Yeah, I
I
think he
think
can
that,
make 3 rounds with Leal.
but I also think that all three rounds will be very uncompetitive, and Leal will be able to just dominate him start to finish on the feet. Moving on.
Dude, these next two fights, I love these two fights. Bruno Ferreira, Armin. I am before Ferreira got knocked out by Ruzaboyev. Um, I liked him. Like I thought he was like the real deal.
I did too.
Um, Abbas Magomedov subbed him at UFC 308.
Yeah.
I, Abbas looked amazing. I mean, but like the two wins before that, Phil Hawes knocked him out first round.
Stoltzfus, that was a great
Yeah,
knockout.
Stoltzfus was a great knockout. So he has that potential, that knockout potential. But Armin's a tough fighter too. Like Shara knocked him out with that crazy knockout. Um, Vieira subbed him. So those are two like tough losses, but he's a tough fighter. Like beating
CLD.
CLD by decision
That's
was
a
a great
massive win.
fight.
That's going to age beautifully for him.
He looked amazing. AJ Dobson too. He looked pretty good. So this is a tough fight. The odds, Ferreira's plus 120, which I like a lot. Because you saw his chin. I mean, it was an insane knockout by Shara, but you could see like Armin. He can get chinned.
Yeah.
So I think Ferreira, because Ferreira's last two losses are like they're tough fighters. I think both of those guys are better than Armin. I'm gonna go Ferreira knockout. I'm gonna go probably round. I'm gonna go round two. I'm gonna go round two knockout for Bruno.
I literally wrote down Ferrer KO round 2 as you were talking.
So
I mean,
I
my
like that.
analysis is basically going to be the same here. I one fight that you didn't mention that I think is crucial. Knocking out RoboCop is a massive win for Bruno Ferreira. It wasn't in his last four; it was earlier on, but that win is also. I know RoboCop just got knocked out by Cannonier, which I was very glad to see because I like that fact that Cannonier still has the juice left in him. But I think that knocking out RoboCop is a win that's going to age beautifully for Ferreira, and I think
He's got power, dude.
yeah, he can knock
He's got
out.
serious power.
He can knock out anyone. And Petrosian exposed his chin last time against Shara Magomedov. I'm not saying
Yeah.
that Bruno Ferreira is
I
going
mean,
to hit
that
some
knockout,
spinning.
yeah.
I'm not going to say he's going to hit some spinning back fist or anything like that. But I definitely do think that Bruno Ferreira has the power potential to get him out of there. And I think round one, it's going to be competitive. Armin and Ferreira are going to be throwing back and forth. Ferreira might land a couple clean, and then Armin might land a couple clean. And Petrosian might even win the first round. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. But I think round two, Bruno Ferreira is going to be able to land the shot that really stuns Petrosian, and then he's going to be able to get it done.
Petrosian beat RoboCop too. Decision. I forgot about that. Like these two guys are very similar in my opinion.
Very good middleweights. I think these are both guys like within the 20 to 25 range at middleweight probably. Like this is if either one gets this win, this is a type of win that can put you like maybe a win or two away from a ranked fight. So I think this is a very crucial win for either of them.
So we both have Ferreira KO.
Great
two.
KO. I got round two, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
And then next fight,
Our boy, Joshua Van.
just lost his ranking, so this is a massive matchup for him. Massive matchup. He needs this one badly. Ray Saruya,
Saruya, very good fighter.
very good.
Like watching his last fight, like the dude, I mean, all around, he's a really good fighter. This is gonna be a banger. This has potential to be fight of the night, in my opinion.
I do too.
Like, obviously, Gaethje, Fiziev, everyone's gonna think that one, like coming into it, but I don't know. Like Joshua Van, I'm a big fan, but I'm slightly worried. I don't know. Rhea looked really good last fight.
Yeah.
Against Carlos Hernandez. I mean, it's Carlos Hernandez.
But it's still
Let's
an
not
impressive.
overreact, but he just looked dominant. Like striking looked good, grappling looked good. This is a tough one for me because I love Van. Like I don't want to pick against my boy. Both young guys, which I love to see. The only loss Van has in the past is Charles Johnson.
Yeah.
Every other fight he's looked very good. Like Edgar Chairez at 306,
Sneaky fight of the night contender. Sneaky fight
banger,
of the night contender.
absolute banger. Beats Cody Durden, looked really good
Also
at
a sneaky fight
310.
of the night contender. Man, he just puts on good
He
fucking
puts on
fights
great fights, and
every
I
single
love this
time.
matchup for him too. Rhea, I think they're both gonna have a good 3 round fight. I can't see either finishing. I think they're just too good of fighters,
Yeah.
and like to either get a KO or whatever. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Josh Van. Can't pick against my boy. I'm gonna go Josh Van decision here.
I completely agree. Ray Saruya is very strong fighter, very strong grappler, especially. That's really his bread and butter. His takedowns are clean, his submission threats are clean. I think he's just very strong in that department of his game. But I also think that Josh Van is going to be able to mitigate that with his striking. Um, and I think he's just going to be able to outclass Ray on the feet. Like I really don't think it'll be much of an issue for him at all. Um, I think he's also going to be making some improvements. I'm assuming this camp. I've heard some things that he's been working on his grappling, he's been working on his takedown defense, and he's been like consistently improving that aspect of his game, which I think is going to be very crucial for him if he wants to win this fight. It's an up and coming contender. Well, both of them are really. I saw a stat. This is the first UFC fight where both fighters were born in the 2000s, which I thought was very interesting.
Awesome. I
Very,
love that.
very, very interesting. Very nice to see the new generation coming up and making waves in the flyweight division. And yeah,
Flyweight division's in good hands.
it is. It
It
is in
really
very
is.
good hands.
It really is.
Again, Van's only loss in the UFC was to Charles Johnson, and that was by knockout. And I don't see Ray knocking him out. I don't think Ray has the level of power necessary to knock out Josh Van like the Skullet does. So at the end of the day, I think it's just going to be Van decision. I could see Ray maybe even winning early with his grappling, maybe winning a round or two. But I think once Van gets settled in, he's going to be able to take rounds off Ray without a problem. And it's going to just end up being a 29-28 decision for Van probably.
Yeah. I like that.
And then we move on. Chris Blades. This fight's kind of a joke, I'm not going to lie.
How do you even say this guy's name?
Rizvan Kuniev, I think.
Kuniev?
It's just a
Um,
joke.
I saw a report like a couple days ago. Curtis Blades admits that he has no idea who
did see
Rizvan. I mean, like
He said he had to Google him. He had to Google
that's
the
an
guy.
absolute joke. I mean, I have no idea what the UFC was doing with this matchup. I genuinely don't know. I hate Curtis Blades. When he beat Yelton Almeida and sold my biggest parlay I've ever had. I've never changed my mind on this dude. I just don't like him. I have a hatred towards him. But there's no way he loses to this guy. I mean, this guy literally. I mean, don't get me wrong. This guy's a solid. Like looking at some of his fights, dude's a solid fighter. Like he had a nasty KO in the Contender Series. Hugo Kuna,
Yeah.
really nice KO victory round 1. Yeah, Curtis Blades is on another level. Like Curtis Blades lost to Aspinall. Tough fight. I mean, it's Tom Aspinall. Lost to Pavlovich. Pavlovich was on that crazy run in mid 2023. Besides that, like, I don't love him, but I just can't see this guy coming in first fight on a big card, and I can't see him beating Curtis. The thing is, I don't know how Curtis gets it done. I feel like they could just both go in slugging first round and Curtis gets him out early. Maybe he lasts a round or two. But I'm honestly, end of the day, I think I'm just going to go Curtis round 1. Actually, I don't know, because like I could see it a lot. I could see the fight turning out like Almeida's fight, where like going back and forth round one, round two, and then all of a sudden Curtis catches him, fight's over.
Yeah.
But I'm picking a lot of round two so far. Definitely, I can't see this fight making round three. I'm gonna go Curtis round one.
I'm gonna go Curtis KO round 1-2. This fight's a complete joke. Like Kuniev, I mean, he had a couple of solid wins in PFL. I'm not gonna lie. Like beating Renan Ferreira by KO, that's a win that's aged remarkably well since Renan Ferreira.
That got overturned.
But it also did get overturned because Kuniev is on steroids. So again, like I really do not know what to actually think about this
You
guy.
don't know what to
Like
expect with this guy.
I think the reasoning behind this matchup from the UFC's perspective is heavyweight sucks right now. We need ranked contenders who are not Waldo Cortez Acosta. So we're going to keep feeding these random heavyweight bots to ranked guys, and we're going to hope that one of them is able to somehow chin the guy and steal a win. But that's just not going to happen with Curtis Blades, Rizvan Kuniev. Curtis Blades is far too good.
And this is a huge win. Like, he's top 5.
Yeah, he's top 5 instantly, but that's just not going to happen. I do not foresee
I
a
can't
world
see
where
that.
that happens. I'm surprised these odds are even as close as they are, and I'm not saying they're close. It's like minus 360.
though.
But like I still think Blades should be favored even more. Like I don't really Kuniev is not as good as grappling as Blades. Blades is one of the best grapplers in the heavyweight division. His power, he has great power. Like he's consistently been able to knock people out. I really just do not see a world in which Rizvan Kuniev is able to steal this win.
Yeah.
The matchup is thickening to me.
So we both have round 1 KO.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Moving on, main card.
Here we go. This is where it gets serious now.
Okay. This lightweight fight. King Green, Mauricio Rufy.
Bobby Green, come on. Let's like the king
Okay,
stuff
I'm
is
reading off
ridiculous.
the name. It says King Green. It says
No,
King Green. I'm
we
reading
can
it
call him
off.
King Green.
Fucking King Green.
This is a great start of the main card fight. Like, no matter what fight King Green's in, Bobby Green. I'm not saying King Green. Whatever fight Bobby Green's in, you already know something crazy is going to happen. It's not going to be like a boring fight. The dude fights Jim Miller. They're bloody all over UFC 300. Patty Pimlet comes in, submits this guy round 1, knocks out Grant Dawson round 1. Like, you never know what to expect from Bobby. You do know what you can expect from Mauricio. Rufy is, like, the dude can strike. Like, I'm a little disappointed he didn't get Long Top out of there. Like, a KO would have been like, okay, this guy's really legit. He still looked amazing at 309. He hasn't had much experience, which makes me like slightly nervous against a guy like Bobby Green. But you can obviously like Bobby can get finished. He's kind of got to that point where he's just taking whatever fight gets given to him. I'm definitely picking Rufy here. I don't like a decision because I think that Rufy striking, I feel like he could chin Bobby. I'm gonna go Rufy KO round 3. I think Bobby stays in there round 1, round 2, and then just round 3. Bobby's tired. The king is the king gets chinned and Rufy looks good again. I mean Rufy's striking is just amazing to watch. Technique just fast as anything. I like round 3 KO here.
I'm leaning Rufy again. Same as you for a variety of reasons. I think Bobby Green is. I mean, he's old. I'm not saying that he's like washed, but I just don't think that he'll be able to keep up with the youthful striking of Rufy. I mean, there's been a lot. It's been said by multiple people that Rufy is supposedly the best one out of the fighting nerds. I don't know how much.
Disagree.
I disagree, but
I disagree,
they've been saying it. I don't know how much I agree with that, but I do think that Rufy has a lot of potential to make waves in this lightweight division.
Who do you think is best?
Of the fighting nerds,
Yeah.
I think Gene.
Gene, then who?
I think it's Gene, Kyle, Rufy.
I agree.
Um,
I don't know. Kyle maybe over Roofy right now.
I think in the future it could be Rufy, but I think
Yeah.
right now, like as
Prates.
oh, I completely forgot
No,
about
no, no,
Prates.
wait.
No,
Prates is
Prates.
number one.
No, I'm going Gene, Prates,
I'm
Kyle,
going
Rufy.
Prates. I'm going Prates over Gene. I love
I
Prates.
just I haven't seen him test it. Like I think Gene is just a
When
more
he
complete
beats
fighter.
Jeff Neal,
If he beats Jeff Neal like that, then that can be a conversation that we'd start to have. I'm not saying that Gene Silva's been like battle tested with like ranked wins because he's not, but he's gonna get the ranked win over Bryce Mitchell.
oh, 100%.
When we cross that point. Back to what I'm saying though, I just think I think Silva's just a more complete fighter. Right now, I've seen Carlos Prates knock dudes out like it's nothing, and like it's pretty impressive. But like it's also Neil Magny, and it's like a lot of guys can do that. So I need to see more I need to see more sides of his game, other than just the striking, which we already know is elite. Um, but yeah, so back to what I was saying with Rufy, like people say he's the best fighting nerd. I don't know about all that. I do think that he'll be able to get this win here. I think he'll just be able to outpace Green over 3 rounds, but I don't think it's going to be a finish. I think Green's going to be able to hang in there. I was disappointed with Rufy not getting Lawn Top out of there. And if he comes with that same approach to Bobby Green, I doubt he'll be able to get him out of there as well. If he comes into this fight and shows a completely new dimension of his game, comes out looking really aggressive, really hunting for that finish, and he's able to get him out of there, then I'll be shocked and I'll be extremely impressed with Rufy, and I'll view his career much more optimistically um, at that point. But right now, I think Rufy isn't good enough. And yeah, I just think Rufy's able
Okay.
to get it out of there just by
You hear
decision,
me?
though. What's up, guys? It's Mauricio. This time for my dorm. Due to technical difficulties with my co-host Luke, the Amanda Lemos Yasmin Lucinda segment will not be in this pod. Basic rundown: I have Lemos by decision. He has Lucindo. And that's about it. So yeah. Next matchup, we got Jalen Turner, Bahamondes. Could be fireworks. Could be fireworks. Like to see it.
I got a lot to say on this one. Both two of like my favorite lightweights. Like obviously, I like the higher. Like Oliveira is one of my favorite fighters. Gaethje's one of my favorite fighters. But if I'm talking like 10 to 15 to 20 range, I absolutely love both of these guys. My opinion on Jalen Turner kind of changed with the Moicano fight. I had a lot of money on Turner, and I don't even want to talk about that anymore. He knocks out Bobby Green in round one, and this is why, going back to Rufy, Bobby can be knocked out.
I'm not saying he can't. I just don't know if Rufy's there yet.
I don't know if Rufy's there yet with his striking, but you can definitely see how Bobby can get chinned. All of Turner's losses, in my opinion, are tough. Like they're tough losses, right? He loses against Gamrot and Hooker, which are two respectable losses, both split decisions. Before that, he had a nice little run. He knocks out Malarkey, subs Brad Riddell. Two nice wins. The only thing about Turner, love his striking, love his fighting style. He hasn't got like a big win yet, where I'm like, okay, this guy like can compete legit. Yeah. Not saying Bahamundis is that guy, but like I don't feel super confident with Turner in this fight when Bahamundis is one of my favorite fighters. I From the moment I saw that knockout against Roosevelt Roberts, he has become one of my favorite sneaky lightweight fighters. This fight could go so many different directions. Because both guys are such great strikers that like either of them could get knocked out like round one, and I wouldn't be surprised. Um, he's had some good wins, Bahamundes. Trey Ogden's a pretty good win. Manuel Torres knocking him out round one at 306.
I was very shocked. I was very impressed
That's
by
when I
that.
realized, like, okay, this guy can strike. Back to back round one head kicks, or knockouts, I mean. Ludovic Klein decision loss is like I'm not. That's a tough fight.
Ludovic Klein is one of those
Dude can
guys who
fight. Dude can fight.
he's
Like
sneaky. There's a
he's
lot of those
sneaky.
guys in lightweight who are just sneaky, like borderline rankable fighters, and Ludovic Klein's definitely one of them.
Dude, this fight. So I'm looking at the odds. It's Turner plus 10, Bahamundes minus 130. I have no idea. Like Turner can get knocked out, which I haven't seen that from Bahamundes yet. Um, so I think if Bahamundes can just stand in there and like just throw some crazy stuff, not saying I think he can knock out Turner. I don't know. This is a super. I'm like, just like no clue what to pick here. I've been going back and forth all week. I love Turner though. Like I feel like he has that potential where, like he could have beat Moicano, and we could be sitting here
Definitely
and
could have.
this fight's not even a thing if he beats Moicano. Dude, I'm so torn. Oh, dude, I have no idea. I genuinely have no idea. Um, maybe you go, and then I make my final decision.
I'll take over from here. I think this is going to be a Bahamondes KO round two. Yeah, I'm confident in Bahamondes here. I didn't think Torres could get knocked out like that until Bahamondes showed with his power that he was able to get him out of there in one round. I don't think he's going to be able to get Jalen Turner out of one round because Jalen Turner is obviously a much more proven fighter than Manuel Torres is. But I also do feel that Bahamondes has the type of power necessary to get Jalen Turner out of there. And I'm just again, as you mentioned, the loss against Moicano is a terrible, terrible look for him. That completely altered the trajectory of his career. Like you were saying, he's permanently on the do not bet list, along with
Yeah, I'm not
Kevin
touching this
Holland,
fight. I just want to
along
enjoy
with
it. I'm not touching this thing.
Kevin Holland, and who else? Oh, well, Gamrot's not on the do not bet list, but Gamrot's going to be on my shit list forever for what happened against Fiziev.
I want to talk about my do not bet list in a second.
All right, we're gonna get to the do not bet list in a second, but back to what I'm
I mean,
saying.
that list is long as hell too. I mean, half of the roster I'm not betting.
Bahamondes, KO, round two, book it. He's got power. Jalen Turner is on a downslide, and I just do not see him being able to turn it around with a tough, tough prospect with hands like Bahamondes does.
I'm gonna go Bahamundes decision. I can't see Turner being finished with I mean Bahamundes striking, don't get me wrong, is absolutely amazing. But he didn't get finished by Hooker. Kept it close with Hooker. Kept it close with Gamrot. I don't know if Bahamundes is the guy to knock him out. And I feel like Turner's gonna have a good fight. Like I could see this a split decision. Bahamundes looks a little bit better, and they give it to Bahamundes. That's gonna be my pick for now. Picks lock in Saturday morning, so I mean I could always change my mind. But do not bet list though. Number one, Yelton Almeida. No debate.
He's on my shit list too.
No
Fuck
debate.
Yeltsin Almeida for that.
No debate.
Oh my
Yelton
God.
Almeida. Shout out Maximus. He knows exactly why. Number two, recently. I mean, Shara Bullet. Love the guy.
Oh my god.
The amount of money I lost because of him. After that loss against
Venom Page.
MVP, that was it for him. Yelton. Shara. A funny one that I want to see. You know Malcolm Gordon?
Holy shit.
Me and Max,
What a fucking
we did
throwback.
picks. We did picks back in junior year in like computer graphics. Every single time I bet or I picked this guy to win, lost. Literally every single time. Like, and then I wouldn't pick again. I'd pick against him, and he'd come up with a win. So Malcolm Gordon up there. Almeida, Share Bullet. Malcolm Gordon. I'll give you one more. I'm trying to think. Who screwed me over? O'Neal Cruz. Pittsburgh Pirates. O'Neal Cruz. He needed one hit Dude went over 4. That's my do not bet list.
Um, I wanted to go back to something that you were saying about Turner. The thing is, I don't think Hooker has that kind of power. I don't think Gamrot has that kind of
Wait,
power.
what?
Like I don't. He got into life and death decisions with two people who I don't think have the levels of power necessary. Oh my God. Okay, no, you're back. All right. I thought you were lagging out there for a second. But I don't think those guys just have the level of power that Bahamondes. Like I really think
Yeah, he
Bahamondes
does. He
packs a
does have
punch,
power.
and like Moicano was able to get him out there after getting knocked down. So I feel like Bahamondes, and I think Bahamondes has probably a similar level of power to Moicano. I mean, Moicano was a former featherweight. Like this isn't like Justin Gaethje we're talking about here. It's not a Moicano. Like I really
Talking
feel like
about Justin
Bahamondes can
Gaethje
do
though.
it. Moving to the co-main event.
Co-main event. Oof. I mean, 100% here. I have Gaethje. I'm not picking against my boy. Probably top 3, top 5 favorite fighters in the UFC. Just his mindset. Like I sent my friend Angelo this TikTok. We both love Gaethje, and it was like him talking about like how he has no life outside of fighting. He likes a boring life, quiet. Like him as a fighter is like his whole aura. Like I just love. Like I can't ever root against him. Seeing him got knocked out by Holloway just like was such a bittersweet moment because it was an awesome moment, but like so sad seeing Gaethje lay face first on the canvas. I don't think Fiziev is gonna have enough to beat Gaethje. Coming off short notice, coming off an injury, a tune-up fight would have been Fiziev's best friend at this point before he maybe got another shot at Gaethje. The where I don't know is how Gaethje gets it done. Because I could easily see this being a good close fight. Gaethje gets the nod by decision. I could see Gaethje going tough 2 rounds with Fiziev and then pulls out something crazy out of his ass and knocks out Fiziev 3rd round. Could see him knock him out 1st round. I mean, I'm gonna go just because Fiziev's coming off short notice. I don't know how he's gonna look. I'm gonna go Gaethje KO round 3.
I like that. I'm gonna go decision. Gaethje. I still lean Gaethje. I still lean Gaethje. I just think Fiziev's been out of the game too long. For him to come back and immediately be fresh like that. And Gaethje got the nod in the first fight. I think the second fight will go pretty similarly. Um,
And also, when Fiziev fought Gaethje, that was Fiziev's like when he was bit. Like that was his up sore. That was
he beat Moicano. He beat Riddell.
He was
coming
peaking.
off.
Dude, what the hell happened to Brad
Oh
Riddell?
no, not Moicano. Dos Anjos. Wait, what?
What happened to Brad Riddell?
Dude.
Does that guy still fight? I haven't heard his
I don't
name.
think I don't think he does.
Oh, wait,
No. I mean, he's still fighting.
That
He's
knockout. When he
33.
knocked out Brad Riddell, that was
Dude,
Dude, he hasn't fought since 2020. It's been almost 3 years. He hasn't fought since 2022. Did he get cut?
Oh, wait, no.
Oh wait, no.
He was expected,
to face
Thiago
Moises on March 2024 on Tuivasa Taibora, and it got called off.
doing forever.
So I guess he's still signed. He just doesn't. He just hasn't fought. But back to what I'm saying. Gaethje and Fiziev met when Fiziev was at his peak, and Gaethje was able to get the nod. I feel like coming off an injury, Fiziev is not going to be as sharp, especially an injury like that. What was he like? He tore his meniscus or something. It was like a serious knee injury, and obviously, modern medicine works miracles. Like I'm not saying Fiziev is washed. Like he'll definitely be able to win fights, but I think Justin Gaethje is a different animal, and I don't think that he has. Like he's not good enough. Like he's not Max Holloway. He's not going to be able to outclass Gaethje on the feet like Max Holloway did for 5 rounds and then get the knockout. Like
The only thing I'm gonna say though, as a nervous Gaethje fan, after that Holloway knockout, I hope and pray that shin is fine. I don't think it's gonna be affected too much. Like it's Justin Gaethje. The guy is an absolute gladiator. I have to lean Gaethje. Main event time or
Main event time. Let's go.
yeah, let's get into it.
Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. So I just want to let this be known. Massive bet on Pereira and Gaethje. So when we could do our parlays of the week or whatever, I'm not touching. Those two are excluded. This is I'm just putting this up there like need this to hit. Extremely confident in both of these guys. So
So
I'm already gonna let you know I have Pereira in this fight. Um, can't stand Ankalaev. I mean everything about him I just don't like. He's a Russian. Don't like. Extremely overrated in my opinion. Like hate how he said that Pereira was ducking him for all this time. I mean, I don't think Pereira will fight anyone. Like it was definitely on the UFC. The UFC didn't want Magomed Ankalaev to get a title shot. It's not Pereira ducking. Um, Ankalaev, like it makes the media makes it seem like this dude's resume is much better than it is. Like he just gets like decision wins. He got his last fight decision win against Alexander Rakic. Didn't look insane. Johnny Walker knocks him out, bro. Who cares? Knocking out Johnny Walker. I mean, stop. Like draws Jan Blachowicz back in 2022. None of these fights make it seem like this guy can beat Alex Pereira. I don't. The odds are insane again. Like we didn't even talk about the Gaethje odds. Gaethje's a plus 136 underdog right now. That blows my mind. There's got to be something that Vegas knows that we don't. Like, genuinely. I've never seen odds that different from what I would expect. Like, if I had to place odds on that fight, I would go Gaethje minus 140.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair.
It makes no sense. Back to this fight. I don't have any fights on Ankalaev's resume where I'm like, shit, like this guy could beat Pereira. The only thing that makes me nervous is Ankalaev's wrestling. Because we saw when Pereira fought Jan Blachowicz, that was the closest fight Pereira's had by far. Minus like Roundtree, the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
That fight with Blachowicz was a tight fight for him. So I'm just scared, like, dude, if Ankalaev can take him down, just lay on him for 5 rounds, it would be a miserable fight, which I'm praying doesn't happen. But I also think, like, Pereira's going to tear up Ankalaev's legs early. Mm-hmm. And I think if he beats up on those legs, Ankalaev is going to be hesitant to wrestle. Does Pereira? I can't see Pereira going 5 rounds and getting a decision. I just can't. I can't see that. This is tough. I'm trying to think of what round Pereira gets it done, because I think Ankalaev is too good of a fighter to get knocked out round 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's not happening.
I could see it like a round 4 Roundtree, a 3 or 4. I'm going to go round 3 KO Pereira.
It's perfectly fair. Again, I think that media perception of this of this fight is completely wrong. Completely the opposite of how it should be. I feel like people are really overstating how good Ankalaev's wrestling is.
I was going to say.
Hold on. I'm going to pull this up right now just so I can reference it. If you look at Ankalaev's UFC stats, there have been exactly 2 fights in the UFC where Ankalaev has successfully landed multiple takedowns. He landed 3 takedowns against Nikita Krylov. He landed 2 takedowns against Jan Blachowicz. Outside of that, it's been 1 takedown or 0 takedowns. He wasn't able to land a single takedown on Rakic. He didn't need to land takedowns on Johnny Walker, so you can discount that. Same with the Anthony Smith fight, but he only landed 1 takedown against Thiago Santos, 1 takedown against Volkan. Like, again, he's not this crazy grappler that everyone thinks he is. He's not This is not Khabib Nurmagomedov. Alex Pereira is not running into Khamzat Chimaev. He's not running into Khabib Nurmagomedov. He is running into a mediocre kickboxer who can occasionally shoot a takedown. That is literally it. That is all that Ankalaev does. All of his biggest wins are mediocre kickboxing matches. What was Alexander Rakic, Manuel Ankalaev? A mediocre kickboxing match where Ankalaev outlanded him by 2 strikes. 55 strikes to 53 for Rakic. That's all it was. He's not this grappler that the media likes to perceive him to be. I really do not see how Alex Pereira does not get it done. I think it's KO round 4. I think round 3, again, it could happen. Like, I don't think it's going to happen round 1 or round 2. I think once you get into those championship rounds, you'll start to see Ankalaev start to sweat a little. You'll start to see him get a little desperate. Maybe he tries something that he shouldn't. Pereira catches him. It's done. Also, another aspect, leg kicks. When Jan fought Ankalaev, that fight completely switched because of how Jan was able to attack the legs of Ankalaev. He forced him into a grappler in that fight and really, really made it difficult on Magomed Ankalaev. So if Alex Pereira is able to utilize those legs effectively, and he's able to land those kicks consistently, I think Ankalaev is going to be in a world of trouble. So I'm going to go KO round 4. Yeah, that's what I got for this main event.
KO round 4. I'm thinking 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's tough, but yeah. So we honestly have like a lot of the same.
Yeah, there's not a lot of difference here. I feel like some of the fights are just pretty easy to pick. Like Carlos Leal, we know how that's gonna go. Some of them are kind of, I like Curtis Blades, another example, but like some of them are just kind of toss-ups where we end up thinking the same. Like Bahamondes Turner, it's kind of a toss-up where we both just ended up landing on Bahamondes. Van Saruya, kind of a toss-up. We just landed on Van. Same with Ferreira too. So, it happens.
Parlay of the week.
Parlay of the week. Parlay of the week, boys.
You want me to lead off on this?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. So obviously, 2-leg parlay, Pereira and Gaethje's besides the point. I'm going something different, like besides that. I got a 5-leg parlay. Odds not amazing, plus 701 on DraftKings. Lock, in my opinion. Bruno Ferreira, leg 1. Money line, plus 120. I think that's great value for him. Joshua Van, Reyes Tesoria. Yes, fight to go the distance. I think that's going to be a close fight. I don't think either guy can really finish them. That's minus 175 odds too. I like that a lot. And then leg 3 and 4 are kind of like givens, high odds. I got Blades money line and Roofy money line. Blades minus 325, Roofy minus 440. Just kind of locks in my opinion, boost the odds a little. And then the last leg I have for minus 225 is Lucindo and Lemos to go to decision. I love betting on women's fights going decision. Like, it's so rare you see. It's so rare you see a finish.
Free.
It's
Free
so
is money.
free. And minus 225, I feel like is pretty solid value on that fight as well. Another thing, so that's 5 legs. Another thing I was looking at to add in, they don't have the odds out for it yet, but Gutierrez, Castaneda, I like that going the distance too. I think both of those fighters are just decision fighters, especially at Gutierrez' part of his career. So if you add that in, it doesn't have the fight to go to decision yet, but for over 2.5 rounds, it's minus 315, which is all right. So if you do that, it's plus 955. $10 wins you 105. So I'm gonna go Ferreira, Van and Tysora go decision, Blades moneyline, Roofy moneyline, Lemos and Lucinda go to the distance, and then this is kind of like a bonus if you want Gutierrez, Castaneda to go to decision as well.
Good lay. I do not have off limits on Ferreira and Gaethje because I have not placed a bet on it yet.
You can delve in on
we're gonna double up on Ferreira and Gaethje here. I feel like again, there's really no way that that doesn't
The odds are
end up.
beautiful.
They're beautiful
Genuinely
odds.
beautiful.
If you're watching this at home, I want you to hammer Gaethje and Pereira.
No.
Hammer
Lay
Gaethje and
off.
Pereira
Lay off.
because
Do not bet those two.
I want you
not
to
bet.
shift the odds so far that Vegas starts calling your house.
Bro,
That's what
please
I want.
no.
I want you to
Don't
hammer
jinx
them
me. Do
because
not jinx me.
it's gonna happen. Gaethje Pereira, put it in your parlays, win some money, and then outside of that, I'm looking at Myros Santos, Francis Marshall. Not going the distance is plus 100. I think that's ridiculous value. I think Myron Santos can get him out of there. I think he can finish that fight at plus 100. I'm taking that and I'm throwing it in the parlay. And then it's going to be 4 legs. I'm going to take a leg that my co-host over here put in his. Vance Arroyo going the distance. I think that's
And it's good odds.
yeah, it's pretty solid odds. Here on Flip it's minus 195, so I feel like
So
that's
it's
pretty
worse.
solid. Yeah, Fisk always gets worse odds, but point is, I feel like that's really solid. I think if you put those 4 together, here it's plus 1,085. I'm not sure what it is on DraftKings. It's probably better on DraftKings, but you put those 4 together, $10 wins you 118.50. I like it. I like it a lot. Good units, good betting. So win some money today, boys. Let's get it done.
I hope. Big weekend. Big weekend for the Bucks. I'm hyped. We're going home. You're watching it with your boys?
Yes,
Yeah, me too.
very excited.
I'm so hyped. It's going to be awesome.
Spring break, boys.
Spring break. Nothing better than the first weekend being home. UFC 313.
Absolutely.
Nothing better.
And then, next topic I wanted to discuss. Nothing's confirmed yet, so this is just speculation. Could be breaking some news here. Who knows? But Tom Nolan posted on Instagram recently. He posted about how Dana White got him a private flight on Instagram. He was like, "Thanks, boss," or some shit like that. Very, very interesting, in my opinion. Tom Nolan fights at lightweight. I'm wondering if this means that maybe Turner Bahamondes or
Yeah, we were talking
Green
about this.
Roofy are maybe those fights are in question. Who knows? I'm really interested to see what
I
happens
could
there.
see Rufy struggling with the weight. I remember last fight, I think a couple days before, they were like, his weight was in question. I think Bobby Green is too much of a veteran to miss weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a science for him.
I heard Turner too. I was reading a report on Twitter, something like Turner was questionable with his weight. So, I mean, it's all really speculation at this point. But I don't want either to pull out. Like, can't make weight. Like, both of these fights, I think, are just going to be awesome. I mean, if I had to, I mean, Tom Nolan, Bahamundos is still a good fight. But obviously, I don't want either touch. But it is interesting that Nolan's coming out from the Dana White sends him out. So we'll see. We'll see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I think
In either one of these matchups, if it's King Green, Tom Nolan, that's kind of interesting. I could maybe see Tom Nolan snatching a win there. If it's Tom Nolan, Bahamondes, that's not happening. It's not happening. So I think Bahamondes is going to get a win there. So it is pretty interesting. I guess that's definitely something to monitor as we head into fight week. But now we're moving to our next segment.
Islam. Wait, should we get going?
what?
Like, should we just start?
Yeah.
All right. I'll. You want me to lead off?
Yeah.
All right. So custom shorts. I mean, all of them are like. I'm not gonna diss on anybody's like that are that bad. There's definitely a few I like more than others. If I have to go first, I'll go my favorite first. Sean O'Malley pink. He's my favorite fighter. The pink is so tough. That's got to be number one for me. I don't see them on here, but I'm gonna go one Sean O'Malley.
They took him off.
They took him off after he lost. What a fucking bum.
Okay.
What a fucking bum.
Okay. That was unnecessary for my co-host. Cocky as always. Number two, they should be these. The second, my second should be off here too after the El Matador got him face first on the mat. So Max Holloway, I'm gonna go to the color, the floral, just sexy. So Sugar one. I'll do top five.
Top five. All right. Let's do
Yeah.
top five each.
So Holloway two.
Um,
Third is tough. I really like Pereira's. Taporias are sweet as well. Pimblett, Patty's
Orange.
orange.
I don't like it.
You didn't like
It's
it?
disgusting.
I don't know. I kind of liked it.
I mean, I like the top here. It's a cool design. The rest of it's just kind of plain though, and I don't really get what the significance behind the orange is.
Um, I'm gonna go to Poria.
That's fair. That's a very reasonable take.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Poria 3. I'm gonna go. This might be a underrated take here. I like Michael Chandler's. They're simple. They're nothing special, but it's like just a nice simple short.
But I feel like Gaethje does the same kind of thing, but better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True.
Um, oh, okay, never mind. Stipe's are ass.
Yeah. Stipe's are awful. Okay, so I went. I'll go Gaethje 4 because it's a little bit better than Chandler's, and then I'll go Pereira 5.
That's fair.
That's fair. Um,
Izzy's are awful, by the way.
Yeah.
yeah,
Awful.
they're horrendous.
I just not a fan at all.
And then there's a couple. Yeah, okay. There's a couple that immediately stand out to me. See, the thing about the Holloway ones that I like is like the floral pattern, but I don't know if that's I don't know if that's number one for me. Because like I don't know if you're looking at them right now, but at least from what I'm looking at. Oh wait, hold on. I can't flip it because otherwise. But
From what I'm
from what I'm
looking
looking
at,
at, it doesn't go all the way.
Yeah,
Like
no,
it
it
like
cuts
stops
off. It
after
cuts off.
it cuts off like the floral pattern cuts
Yeah.
off like around the like with the inside of the leg, so it's kind of weird. I don't really like that at all. I feel like it's better if it just like if it continues like around like it's more consistent pattern. So it's not going to be number one for me. I think number one, Dustin Poirier. I love how these shorts look, man. These are fucking sick.
Yeah.
These are super creative. The like the little foliage on it.
Yeah.
All the plants and shit, and then the different colors too. It's a lot, but I feel like it goes well together. So I really like that. Number two, dude, Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, dude, I didn't even
These
see
are some
those.
shorts. These are some
Those are
nice
those
shorts,
are
man.
nice shorts.
The little dragons on them. I like the
Moreno's
also
walkout is
gone by.
next step. Favorite walkouts.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Next step. That's our closing segment for the next step. We just gotta pick a bunch of random favorite things, and then we'll just like we'll come in with a top five list next time. Best walkouts. So Moreno, I also think the colors complement each other really well. Like the little gold, the green, and the red all really blend together really well to make a nice short. Outside of that, I think three is maybe Charles.
Yeah.
I like these.
I
They're a
like
little.
the shorts. I didn't like them.
I didn't know. Yeah. At first, I wasn't the biggest fan, but now that I'm looking at them, I think these are a solid pair of shorts. I always like the box shorts more than um the Vale Tudo ones where they like stick to you. And I feel like this design is really nice with the orange, the blue, and the red. I didn't really like them on Charles. I thought maybe they didn't necessarily fit Charles the best, but I feel like the design's really cool, so I'm gonna go that three. Um, I'm gonna go Holloway 4. Like again, I still don't like the fact that it doesn't wrap all the way around. But I
It
still
is so
think
sick.
it's a sick ass design. Like it would be an easy one for me if like they were more consistent with the patterning. So that's gonna be 4, and then 5. I think I'm gonna close it off with um, which ones did I like here? Alex, Stipe's. I think also, can we agree? Stipe's is the worst. Stipe is the worst.
Marabs
Like
are awful too, in my opinion.
Those are like a
those are
bottom
like
three.
a bottom two, I think. Like I'm looking at Marabs right now. These are like I get they're supposed to be like it's supposed to represent Georgia and stuff, and like cool, like respect, like represent your culture, but like also these are the most boring design I've ever seen. Both of them were supposed to represent their. One of them was supposed to represent Croatia, and the other one was supposed to represent Georgia, and they both ended up being the most boring
Yeezys are
shorts.
awful too.
Bad. I think it's probably a
Like,
bottom
I think
three.
that's a
Like I think
pretty
it's a pretty
Leon's
easy
I
bottom
wasn't a
three.
fan of either.
um
Um, but I think five. I think five. I'm just gonna close it out with a solid Tapuria.
Yeah, I
I
like
really
that.
like.
It fits him
I
too.
really like
the gold
the gold and the
red.
red. I think that's a really good fit for him, and
I think
I
overall
think overall they just look really clean. So
I love how the UFC's been doing the custom short style.
yeah,
yeah, I think
Adds
it's a really
fun
good idea.
element. Yeah.
I think
I think maybe be better with how they select who gets them though.
Yeah.
Because like does Michael Chandler like I'm not saying that Michael Chandler's are bad by any means, but like does Michael Chandler need custom shorts when he hasn't won a fight in
Yeah,
like
true.
a couple like 3 years now? Like which again, that's another fight that we're gonna discuss when we get there. But
I like the plain colors though.
yeah,
I like the pink, I like the orange, I like the purple.
where it's just like a
where it's just like a consistent like
Yeah,
one
like
color.
Gary with the purple was I like that.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
actually
that was actually a
Yeah.
pretty nice pair of shorts. But yeah,
Does this wrap it up?
I think that's it.
I think that's it.
First
I think that's
episode
all
in
we
the
got.
books.
First episode of the book.
Josh,
If you made it this far, you're a real one.
You're a real
Real one.
but yeah.
But yeah. So, how often do we want to do this? Like every pay per view, should we?
Yeah.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
All right. So, Jock Sharp MMA, episode 1. I'm Mauricio Palmer. That's Luke Stefankowitz. We'll be keeping your MMA knowledge tight and secured before every single pay per view, and maybe some big fight.
Yeah,
It'd have to be
I'm
like it'd have to be like a really big fight night though. But like if they do like a Saudi card where like it's like a sick main event, then like
Mexico, UFC
You know.
Mexico.
oh that could be one. UFC Mexico. Is that Moreno Erceg again?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah. So we'll catch you on the flip side. See you with the next pay per view.
Peace.